All right, welcome back, Speed Gaming. Triple bingo. Who saw that one coming? Apparently, Melissa did. She thinks it's a smart choice. I think it's a fun choice. Certainly, a lot of fun to commentate. I think it's one of the. I think bingo is one of the most fun racing formats since it's a little more dynamic than fixed categories. Uh, we are getting set up here, waiting for the race to start. Kip, what are your thoughts on triple bingo? I know you banned it in your race. You must not be a triple bingo fan. I see.
Well, I banned it because I think Derp is literally the best triple bingo player in this entire tournament. If maybe Cutie, you could make an argument too, has had a really strong performance in triple bingo. So I banned it from a strategic point of view just because I felt like my opponent was better. I think it's a great category. I like the selection by Andrew. I think you're going to be hard pressed to find someone in the Super Metroid community that knows as much about the game as Andrew. With that said, though, Aussie is a strong bingo player and has done it in this tournament a few times and has done a lot of other types of bingos in the past. So I think this is going to be a fantastic race. I like the selection. I will tell everybody up front, if Aussie wins this match, you know that he will, or wins this race, he will win the match and we'll be done. If Andrew wins, it'll be tied 1-1, and we will not have game 3 until tomorrow. So this should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and while we have our runners going through Series Station, let's take a look at this card. The first thing that I noticed on this card is there's a lot of exclusive items. There's a lot of collect one of, collect this and skip that, collect only one Ice Beam or Speed Booster. And so when you have a lot of those tiles and you have to do 3 bingos, you tend to have a few less major items than you would in other categories. So it'll be interesting if they do things like there's things that happen like forgetting that getting up Red Tower without high jump or ice can be really hard. We'll see if that impacts the runner's routing. There's also a very good mix of lower Norfair or Norfair and Meridia on this tile. I know I've seen some tiles that are very Meridia heavy, but this one actually feels like it's a good percentage Norfair. We got all 4 Norfair energy tanks. There's a defeat Croc. There's a defeat Croc and skip high jump. Finish in Metal Pirate Room. It's actually a lot of Norfair on this card, so it'll be interesting to see if we see our runners favor Norfair over the kind of more common Meridia routing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've talked about this, at the beginning of every bingo race, but in particular, triple bingo, you're just so overwhelmed with information. It's a very cerebral game. Obviously, your Super Metroid speedrunning skill from a technical point of view is still a big factor, but your ability to read the cards, see connections, especially in a quick manner, it makes a huge difference. So this is going to be a really tough match, and I haven't looked at the card extensively yet. I was trying to set some stuff up, but I think you're right. It does look like there's multiple options here that are viable.
Yeah, and there's quite a few tiles themselves that are exclusive. We see collect Ice Beam and skip Speed Booster. We also see Wreck Ship Reserve Tank. So our runners will not be able to do both of those. So if they're doing row 1 or column 4, they are avoiding column 1 or row 5 and bottom left, top right. It looks like Andrew's heading to the right here to pick up these missiles. Not a lot else you can do in this room at this point. Could be the 60 missiles tile. There's also a 40 plus Brinstar missiles if he's going for that one. If nothing else, it shows good forethought into what he wants to do if he's already going, taking a little bit of a detour to pick up a missile pack.
Rumble, what do you think are some of the worst tiles out there? What are tiles that you like to avoid?
Ooh, worst tiles. Collect all 4 Norfair energy tanks. That's one I try to avoid. Means you have to fight both Croc and Ridley, which generally is Ridley is in the most out of the way place in the game, right? Like it's all the way down at a dead end, through some of the hardest rooms. I don't think fully explore wreck ship is as bad as some people think. I think you can route that in, and as long as you remember to do it, it's not too bad. I think one of the hardest to route in is well, I was gonna say wreck ship reserve tank is sometimes one of the hardest ones to route in. Because it forces you to run kind of old route style one, which you might not want to, and especially if it's tied together. You see that column 4 where it's wreck ship reserve and collect 1 Varia or gravity. Generally, you want Varia to go get speed, otherwise you're doing some hell runs, which are not ideal.
You know, I just noticed something. Unless I'm mistaken, on every card there's only 12 groupings, right? There's 5 across, 5 top to bottom, and then 2 diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
That collect all 4 Norfair energy tanks is a terrible tile. That tile alone, if you're trying to avoid it, you've removed a quarter of the entire card.
Yep.
From options. So very interesting.
Yeah, luckily the center tile, which that's 4. That's the crux of the card. That's a third of it. You're almost always doing the center tile. Criteria Power Bomb, not a terrible one to do, although this card looks pretty terrible overall, but it's very likely I'm missing some groupings that might work really well together.
Yeah, the only way that tile isn't so bad is if you can somehow end up ending the run down in Lower Norfair. If you can't, then that's an extreme amount of time investment. Trying to go down to Lower Norfair to kill Ridley and then exit is really slow.
Yeah, and there are, some options for that, actually. Like if we look at pairing column 1 with row 4, finish in middle pirate room, you probably wouldn't want to pair it with column 5 because that means you're getting space jump, which means you're killing Dragon and going all the way down to Ridley. But if you wanted to pair it with row 4, that could work out very well for a Norfair heavy run. It's like both of our runners are picking up the Brinstar reserve tank.
Somebody just mentioned blind bingo. So basically, that we already have a category. It's called 100% item collection. I think that would be what you had to do if you were playing blind bingo. Otherwise, you'd just be doing random stuff all the time.
Yeah, but it's entirely possible that with tiles like collect 1 and skip this thing, that even with 100%, you might never finish. You could not have any bingos because there's skip charge beam and skip speed booster and tiles that would complete your bingos.
Now, as you're talking about picking a row before you see it would be, I guess more interesting. But then again, it's just like there's no competition there. That's just completely, luck, which is what he's pointing out. I'm not trying to say that I'm trying to basically say that's what he's pointing out in the chat. It's just it would be really hard to do that and actually expect a real competition.
I wouldn't mind it so much if it was like you picked a row or column blind and everybody did that row, right? So you're basically picking an arbitrary group of goals.
I like that. So basically, like each runner picks like one, whatever. Maybe each runner picks one, and then so both runners are forced to do those 2, and then whenever it's revealed, you get to pick the last one. That would be pretty cool.
That could end up in 2 rows getting picked that can't be completed together, though.
That is true.
We've got both of our runners going to Spore Spawn, too. We've got, You know, we had a lot of sync in an 80% all bosses race, which made sense because they were doing the same route. But you don't really expect this level of sync in a triple bingo because you expect there to be pretty heavy divergence, just because people have read the card differently or chosen different rows.
Looks like Andrew got more damage in on the first round of Spore Spawn here based on the speed at which Spore is moving, but unable to get the 2 round.
We get good music. I like the Spore Spawn music.
Ooh, Andrew missing the Doppler, or not really Doppler, but the double shot there. So he's going to have to do another round. And if he's not careful, I think he's got at least 2 missiles left, unless I'm mistaken.
Oh.
Yep. Oof.
The brutal,
Man,
the
that's
brutal
real
5-round Spore Spawn.
And not bad in terms of performance, just like that's a big time loss.
Exciting, he wants those drops. Likely going for some of the super missile tiles then, if they're going to pick up these Spore Spawn supers. I guess it's probably faster to go out this way anyway if you're going down. See here, is skip charge? Yeah, it is. Well, there's collect 1 of charge or wave. I would fully expect that tile to generally just say collect charge and skip wave. Wave doesn't do a whole lot for you if you're not getting charge anyway.
So the reason they didn't backdoor Spore Spawn supers is because they're probably going for the tile that says defeat Golden Chorizo and Spore Spawn. And there's another one down there that says defeat Spore Spawn and Botwin. So I'm sure they're interested in the supers, but they're primarily interested in killing the boss to get that, I don't know, what's the right term I'm looking for here? Achievement. What word am I looking for here, Rumble?
Square?
Do what?
To get that square?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I'm looking for something else, but anyway, you get the idea.
Task?
Because it's not even the full tile. Like if it were by itself, I would call it the tile or the square.
I see. But that criteria.
Nice.
And also, you see the collect 25 plus criteria missiles. That is criteria. Now, will our runners head up? Generally, if there's a lot of collect 1 of Varia or Gravity, they're pretty much always going to go get Gravity. It just locks out too much of the map if you can't get Gravity, at least quickly.
Yeah, in traditional bingo, Gravity suit is, especially in triple bingo, it's just too strong. So there's no doubt about it. The runners that are able to comfortably get over to wreck ship, kill Fantoon early, and get Gravity traditionally will have an advantage. There are some cards that allow you to avoid going to Meridia or needing the Gravity suit, but there's not many where that happens. I don't want to get into a long discussion about this. Part of me feels that a continued upgrade to our bingo system could eventually balance things out a little bit more, but I also feel like it would be interesting if we ran bingo on an updated ROM that changed a few things. But there's just so much stuff we would have to talk about to make it work. But anyway, we won't. There's no time to talk about that right now. So anyway, both are heading to wreck ship, and Osse got over very cleanly, I think, with the CWJ, and Andrew is on his way as well.
Yeah, and also collect Gravity and skipping Varia is actually 2 tiles on this card. It's both row 2, column 4, and row 4, column 3.
Unfortunately, our first moat trip of this match. Andrew gonna get set up for another attempt here at the horizontal bomb jump and nails it second try. Beautiful.
Now, I didn't see Osse go into the missiles room. Andrew also skipping that left main shaft missiles. Generally, if you were going to fully explore the wreck ship, you would do that now. It doesn't surprise me. I don't expect them to do row 1, since they'd have to come all the way back to wreck ship. And column 2, if they're doing heavy warfare, as you said, they generally want to finish in metal pirate room. So I would expect them to be doing row 4 with that. I don't think they're going to want to be finishing in spring ball room. So I don't think either of our runners are going to show anybody the worker robots or the spiky room of death, the sequel. Just going to get in and out of here with our gravity suit.
Osse ended up going for, oh, Andrew, unfortunate there. Osse ended up going for a purposeful 3-round, but kind of got punished by Fantoon there. I think that was like at least 2 slows. Andrew unfortunately popped Fantoon a little too early on that first round. I think it was a mid pattern. He popped him a little too early on the second volley and ended up sending him back into invisible. And then he had, I think, a mid maybe round 2 or maybe a fast, and now he got a slow in round 3. But he's going to need to Doppler a little bit here to get this 3-round. All right, we're good.
Yeah, and he shouldn't get health bombed here. He has he's beeping, but he has a reserve with some amount of health in it. I presume that takes him over the amount. Actually, do you get health bombed no matter how much reserve you have, if you have any, or will you not get health bombed? I don't know how that works.
I don't know. I mean, if you have anything in your reserve at all, I think if you have anything in there, you don't get health bombed. I could be wrong. I don't know if the game calculates how much you have. Like if you have 2 in reserve and you get down to 10 energy, I don't know if it calculates your total energy or if it just calculates do you have reserves or not. That's probably a question for one of the tech people.
Sounds like as you're saying, it does calculate your reserves. So as long as he had 8 health in his reserves, he was going to be fine.
Kind of fascinated that they're both doing the exact same thing for the most part here so far in this run. We don't see that super frequently, or at least I haven't in a lot of the bingo matches I've watched. So I'm actually curious if they end up running the exact same thing or at what juncture their decision making is going to, path away from one another.
Yeah, I mean, I got to think that they're doing that row 4. Row 4, column 1, and maybe top left to bottom right.
The Bounty Hunter Diaries starring Anne Hathaway. All right, we got Osse heading over to get his gravity suit. He's in the spiky, I can always call it the spiky room, but that's not what it is. It's bowling room. But he's in the bowling spike room. Andrew looks like he's following suit, not grabbing any of these missiles. And so, yeah, maybe about 20, 30 seconds between them, roughly. Andrew not in a good position here with his energy. I don't know how much he's got in reserve. Okay, he should be okay now, assuming he doesn't make a mistake.
Oh, you're right. I didn't see the bot wound on the bottom of column 4. They'll likely skip that. Yeah, maybe the diagonals. I could see him doing
All I gotta
both
say real
diagonals.
quick, my man Andrew, who went for the D boost in the previous race, recognized that if he missed him in this one, he would die, and he did not go for it. You love to see it.
Yeah, I would say diagonals in column 1 would be a good bet here. or maybe diagonals in row 4. Well, they picked up Brinstar Reserve, though. Seems like row 4 would be pretty free if you're doing the rest of it. So maybe... I guess if they did like row 2, row 4, and column 1 even, without the... like, there's a lot of overlap in a lot of these tiles that all could work together. They may be actually doing like different rows, but still, you know, doing the same ones. Looks like Andrew is heading over. We finally have route divergence here. Andrew's heading over. He's going to pick up that criteria power bomb. This may be kind of the difference. Osse may be doing column 1 and row 2 and row 4, and Andrew instead is doing... I think he's looking to do the tile that says annoy the commentators with beeping for 20 to 30 minutes.
Man, I'm jealous of people who are good at... Well, way
to go, Kip.
Just cursed him. I'm not ever comfortable going for double bomb jumps in these situations because you know, one miss and it's over. But I'm just not good at the timing, so I'm real jealous of the people that are really good at it. And it's tough to do. I think it's tougher than people think to get consistent double bomb jumps like that.
Right.
Andrew opting not to refill there.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, actually. I guess he's probably planning on an E-Tank being in his route shortly.
By the way, I don't want to like go off on a tangent here, but that ice beam, in my opinion, might be, in many cases, the item that costs people the most in a lot of bingos. I've seen a ton of times, like seriously, like 3 or 4 times, and I've only watched, you know, I don't know, probably like 20 bingo races or something. There's so many times where people are forced into skipping high jump boots, and then they forget that they will probably need ice to have a quicker red tower if they need to get back up. And then they get there and they don't have either, and they either, you know, spend a bunch of time trying to do the ice, or excuse me, the speed spark, or they have to infinite bomb jump up. But most of the time it ends up being very slow. So good to see Osse pick that up. Maybe it's part of, you know, his tiles. I haven't really looked that closely. It looks like the ice beam or speed booster, at least he's got one, but still it's going to make it easier for him to backtrack if he needs to later.
Yeah, I also want to call out that Fuzda making the decision to pick up Spazer. Osse skipped Spazer. They're both going to likely be killing Ridley, and that's a... Spazer can make a decent difference there. Now, he doesn't have a lot of ammo, so he'll have likely 25 super, so maybe it won't play into that as much as I was thinking.
Once again, shout outs to Galamaz for being our tracker extraordinaire. I think it's very difficult to track and commentate at the same time, so thank you, Gala, for coming in and helping us out.
Osse continuing to get missiles here. I don't know if he wasn't sure how many he had and wanted to get 60, or if he's going for the 125. Doesn't get to get either speed or high... sorry, does get high jump boots, but he doesn't get to get speed. He'll be skipping that.
Holy moly, that jump off of the opening door by Osse there. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, Spazer is interesting. Again, I I have a hard time trying to tell exactly what people are doing, but Spazer, there's a few reasons I would pick up Spazer in bingos. I've picked it up in the past to help me with Ice Clip and the Spring Ball. I've also picked it up to help me with a Ridley objective. I've picked it up to help me with a Golden Chorizo objective. So if you're not being asked to pick it up, asked to pick it up, there are still some scenarios out there where you could benefit from it.
All right, so if we're right here, what's going to happen here is they're going to head down. Osse's already at Croc. They're going to kill Croc, head down to GT, kill GT, pick up GT's supers. That'll give both of them the 25 plus super tile, although I guess Osse might not need it. They'll both get all 4 Norfair energy tanks. They'll pick up Fireflea on the way down and Ridley after they kill Ridley. And then they'll both run to finish in Metal Pirates room. And I think that actually finishes both of their routing if I see that. Osse's route avoided going back for Criteria Powerbomb, which actually may have saved him quite a bit of time. The only difference instead is that he will have to. What did he have to do instead? Oh, he skipped Speed Booster, which I think Andrew. Oh no, Andrew has to do that anyway. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good routing by Osse there to do the column 1 with row 2 and row 4.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Say that again. What exactly do you think that Osse's going for?
Osse is doing column 1, row 2, and row 4. So once he kills GT and Ridley, collects the Norfair energy tanks, and finishes Metal Pirate room. Andrew's going to have to do basically the exact same things if he's doing what I think he's doing, which is bottom left, top right, top left to bottom right, and row 2.
Interesting.
It's also possible that he's doing row 4. The thing is, they're going to complete basically. Andrew will complete basically all of Osse's rows plus his diagonals because he got the Criteria Powerbomb. But because Osse skipped the Criteria Powerbomb, he still gets 3 rows and didn't have to go back for it.
How many supers does Andrew have right now? Because he's only got 1 left that he can pick up in Lower Norfair.
He has 20. They both picked up early supers, Spore Spun supers, and 2 in Wreck Ship.
Gotcha. Makes sense. First try, green gate glitch on Osse. That's twice in a row now. Nicely.
Andrew can skip column 1, so he'll get less missiles, but Osse already has that done. I don't think, and they both did 40 Brinstar missiles, so the extra 20 missiles doesn't really cost that much time. There is Osse's 25th super. I believe he's picking that up just for Ridley. I don't think he's planning to do anything with it.
It also helps here on this fight. But
true.
Yeah, I think the primary reason is for Ridley. And he's getting banana attacked, K+.
He could skip Firefly E-Tank, yeah, if he does row 4, row 2, and bottom left, top right. I don't know how much that will save him compared to going to Criteria. I guess maybe that's the difference, is you can skip some of the one of the Norfair E-Tanks, and instead you went and got Criteria Powerbomb. Keep in mind that in order to get that Powerbomb, he had to bomb jump up because they didn't have speed or space jump. All right, Osse's going to head over to Ridley. Missing some movement items like speed, but does have high jump and has screw attack, which should make most of this pretty easy. Wait, doesn't he have high jump?
Talking about Osse?
Yeah.
He has high jump, but that won't get you out of that room if that's what you're asking. To get out of there.
Oh, he's in. Sorry, I thought he was somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you thought he was in worst room?
Yeah, I thought he was in worst room in the game.
Yeah, they actually do look kind of similar, like just in terms of how they look on the screen in certain parts. But yeah, he doesn't have speed booster and high jump boots alone. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't think he can get out of that screw room.
Yeah. Yeah, and he is refilling here on supers for Ridley. Makes sense. Now, while Spazer does add a little bit of firepower, it is still quite a bit weaker than what Andrew would have on a new route run. Missing Wave actually is pretty powerful. Wave does increases the damage by quite a bit.
I wasn't aware that you could get out with just high jump boots. It must be like a very difficult jump, kind of like high jump bootless in worst room, maybe something in that ballpark would be my guess. I've literally never seen anyone do it, so I don't know what it looks like. I think to get out, as they pointed out, I think the only way to get out from the door is to have speed and high jump, but I could be wrong about that too.
Oh, Fusta. Sorry, Andrew. Almost getting that double bomb jump and clearing out the blocks as he goes up. Unfortunately, not quite there. There's Osse picking up his third Norfair energy tank.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think I have seen a video on that. Maybe I saw Osse's video. Anyway, I can't remember. It's not something that would ever apply to me in anything that I do. So usually, if it doesn't apply, I don't end up putting it in the memory bank for very long. But yeah, Osse's on his way here, and there's not a whole lot in between him and winning this match. What does he have left again here, Rumble?
He's got to kill Ridley, which will give him row 2, column 3, and then pick up the Ridley E-Tank, which will give him row 1, column 1, and then run to the Metal Pirate room, which will give him his bingos.
Man, this ended up being a great race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very close.
One of the rare Norfair heavy cards where we saw both runners doing almost the same things. And as we saw, even though they did slightly different routes, slightly different bingos, so much lower Norfair on this card that they kind of ended up looking up very similar.
So pretty much the only thing standing between Osse and a win here is a dead Pelican.
Yeah, and not choosing to farm any supers. I feel like I'd probably farm up to full if I were him, but you know, he doesn't know where he's at, and maybe he feels like he needs to go in. Supers just do so much damage to Ridley. I feel like, given the drop rates, it's probably faster to get another super than go in before. Person is very proud of their engine.
He does have a ton of regular missiles though, and he did start with a ice shield, so he should be able to wrap this up, assuming he does. Well, man, how many times am I going to be in the middle of a sentence only to have the thing I'm talking about literally happen?
Yeah, Fusta doesn't need to go to get the fire fleet tank because he's not doing column 1. And that is the difference, is that Osse had to get that and a few more missiles, Fuzda went and got the criteria power bomb instead so that he could get the diagonals.
Did Osse actually pick up the Firefleet energy tank?
He did.
Okay, I think I just missed it happening.
And he's just got to get through these 2 rooms here, and he will be done. This is going to be an excellent triple bingo time, by the way. 34 minutes. And Osse has done with an official SRL time of 34:56, improving his personal best for triple bingo by over 7 minutes. GG, Osse, nicely done. Good luck.
Is that a world record?
I don't know.
Cutie set the world record at the beginning of this tournament sometime. Let me check the sheet.
Can't we just do .wr? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Apparently it is, since SRL is saying Cutie's world record was 36:20.
Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw a triple bingo world record live on stream. Congrats to Osse101 getting the victory here and winning the match overall 2-0. He will be moving on to the second round of the multi-category tournament to face the winner of the Zost versus Freya Spirit matchup, which will be happening tonight. Let me check the time on that real quick. Starting at 10 p.m., I believe. 10 p.m.
All right, and Andrew does not need to pick up the Ridley E-Tank either, since he's not doing column 1. Instead, he just needs to head back to the Metal Pirate room, and he will be done. Another excellent time. And there we go. We got sync again. Both players standing in essentially the same spot. GG Fuzda finishing in second place with an official time of 36:40, improving his triple bingo personal best by over 13 minutes. Nicely done. GG to both Osse and Andrew. Fantastic races.
All right, Andrew has declined on the interview, so GG to Andrew. Thank you for participating in the tournament. Great tournament, went 4-2, made the play-in race, and then made the playoffs, and had a great showing today. Osse will be moving on, and the next match, round 2, will begin on Monday. So we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the weekend holds. But that is our, I believe, third out of or excuse me, maybe 5th out of 8 matches completed so far in round 1. So, and I think we're joined now by Osse. Osse, GG.
Hey, GG.
Yeah, two really fantastic races. I'm curious if you can talk a little bit about why you chose any percent all bosses for the first race.
So part of the reason is like my PB, like as it shows up on the leaderboard, is like really high up there, like compared to world record. So it's a good category for me. And also Andrew, I don't think has a lot of experience with it, and so it's a good category for me, and I think it's a poor category for him.
Seems like a pretty good reason to pick it as a category to play against him. We had 2 very close races here, both of them within, I think, just a minute of each other. Triple bingo was a little over a minute 40. What did you think of the bingo card? I know I looked at it and had some thoughts on it, but it was seemed like a different bingo card than what I'm used to seeing. So what were your thoughts on that card?
Yeah, I was reading it as a quick Meridia card at first, so I just wrote in a Meridia route. But then that ended up with a finish at Metal Pirates. I think was the best ending I could find, best third row. And so I worked backwards from there actually. Turned Plasma into Ridley, Croc into collect all 4 E-tanks. And then I had a nice just get your gravity suit and then go to Ridley route. And that ended up being really fast. Actually, originally I didn't have the retro Brin missiles I got by the ceiling E-tank. I didn't have those in my route, but they are here in the final route. Because I was changing rows around for longer than I normally do.
Well, Aussie, you've had a fantastic tournament so far. Congratulations on winning round 1. Let's talk a little bit about the future. You went 4-2. You crushed the play-in race and actually, got first place out of 12 people in that. Here you've gone 2-0 against Andrew, a very quality opponent. You're going to move on to the second round, which will be against the winner of Zos versus Freya Spirit. And obviously, anything can happen in a match. But I think, most people would assume that Zost is the favorite in that matchup and the most likely to move forward. So, it's possible that you might end up having to play the number 1 overall seed in the next round. So tell us a little bit about if that were to happen. You don't have to give away all your secrets yet, but just what would be your general opinion about going up against a runner of his caliber and in terms of, how you might want to approach it?
So you talk about the play-in race a lot, and I got, what was it, a 44 or 45 in that? And that was a really good run for me, but that doesn't compare to Zos any percent. So I'm kind of outclassed there. So I guess I've just changed my goals to just becoming comfortable with all the speed run categories in the tournament. So that's what I've gained over the course of the tournament, is just learned all these new categories. And RBO is the last one I have to get decent at. And so I'm gonna try to get good at that next week, and then I'll be doing picks based on what I want to see Zost race as a Zost fan. And then maybe get a low ice rematch if I'm not likely to die as much.
That would be a lot of fun. Well, you had a great performance today. Congratulations. I'll turn it back over to Rumble if he has any other questions or if you have anything final you'd like to say before we get out of here. But great start to your Saturday, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Aussie, any last words before we sign off here?
I'm not. Thanks for doing the commentary, Cape and Rumble, Gala, and tracking. You did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Shout out to Gala for tracking. It's always really nice to have somebody doing that while you're doing a triple bingo race. Thank you to organizers and SpeedGaming for hosting it. Don't forget that later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, we do have that Freya Spirit versus Zost match. Make sure you catch that. That is going to be calmed by Maniacal and Tracy M, by the way. So look forward to that. What else is going? We got 2 more matches tomorrow. We got Strat Chat tomorrow, Kid? Are we doing that?
We will most definitely do Strat Chat tomorrow. Try to do Strat Chat every Sunday night after the round, the tournament round is over, so we can recap and have some fun with the picks. I do want to point out real quick a big thank you to Mega Cat Studios and Balls Guarana. Those are our 2 sponsors for this tournament. Technically, something I failed to mention earlier, Aussie has now qualified for a prize. So the top 8 runners, the people who make it to round 2 or further, win money. So congratulations, Aussie. You will have some money coming your way at the end of the tournament.
Fantastic. How much are they paying the commentators?
Well, unfortunately, because of the commentator strike with the professionals that actually get paid for this, us novices have to come in and just do it for free.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll take it.
But before we close out, I know Rumble, you'll close us out with your great comment about dogs, which I think is a really great send off. I'll give a quick, fun, cute story here. My dog spent the evening. Her name is Samus. She spent the evening playing with her good friend puppy, and she's so tired today that even between matches earlier, between races, I opened the door to go in the backyard, and all she did was walk out in the backyard, get in the sun, and then fall down and go back to sleep. So I'm expecting a day full of practice without being hounded to play too much because I think she's exhausted.
That's awesome. I've got one of my puppers sitting behind me in the chair, snoozing it up in a beautiful day. So with that, I will thank the chat and watchers. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. Look forward to all the other races. Check out the schedule. Check out the runners' streams. You see them linked above. Andrew and Osse's streams. Fantastic runners to watch. And I will leave you once again to hope that you can continue to always be the human that your dog thinks you are. Appreciate it. Have a great day. I will see you later.